The Patriarchate of Lisbon is an archdiocese of the Roman Rite of the Roman Catholic Church based in Lisbon, Portugal. The diocese is said to have existed since the 1st century, but historical evidence shows its existence only since the 4th century. History: the Diocese of Lisbon was created in the 4th century, but it lay vacant after 716 when the city was captured by the Moors. Notwithstanding that there are references to Mozarabic bishops of the Mozarabic Rite in that period, the diocese was restored when the city was recaptured by Alfonso I of Portugal during the Second Crusade in 1147 during the Siege of Lisbon. A crusader's account of that event refers to the local elderly bishop of the city being slain, against all right and justice, by marauding Flemish and German crusaders, in direct defiance of the terms of the city's rendition. As Portugal grew in political importance and colonial possessions, the jurisdiction of the Metropolitan of Lisbon expanded. Stadel says in his Compendium Geographiae Ecclesiastici Universalis that Coimbra, Leiria, Portalegre, Elvas, Funchal, Angra, Congard, St. James of Cape Verde, São Tomé, and Baía of All Saints were suffragans of Lisbon. As a reward for its assistance against the Turks, Pope Clement XI in 1708 raised the chapel of the Royal Palace to collegiate rank and associated with the 3 parishes in the dioceses of Bragança and Lamego. Later, yielding to the request of King John V, he issued the bull in Supremo Apostolatis Solio, known as the Golden Bull because the seal or bulla was affixed with gold instead of lead, giving the collegiate chapel cathedral rank, with metropolitical rights, and conferring on its titular the rank of Patriarch. The city of Lisbon was ecclesiastically divided into Eastern and Western Lisbon. The former Archbishop of Lisbon retained jurisdiction over Eastern Lisbon, and had as suffragan dioceses those of Guarda, Portalegre, St. James of Cape Verde, São Tomé, and São Salvador in Congo. Western Lisbon and metropolitan rights over Leiria, Lamego, Funchal, and Angra, together with elaborate privileges and honors, were granted to the new Patriarch and his successors. It was further agreed between Pope and King that the Patriarch of Lisbon should be made a cardinal at the first consistory following his appointment. The first Patriarch of Lisbon was Tomás de Almeida, formerly Bishop of Porto. He was raised to the cardinalate on the 20th of December 1737 by Pope Clement XII. There thus existed side by side in the city of Lisbon 2 metropolitical churches. To obviate the inconvenience of this arrangement, Pope Benedict XIV united East and West Lisbon into one single archdiocese under Patriarch Almeida, who ruled the see until his death in 1754. The double chapter, however, remained until 1843, when the old cathedral chapter was dissolved by Pope Gregory XVI. It was during the Patriarchate of Cardinal Almeida that the famous chapel of St. John the Baptist was built in Rome at the expense of King John V and consecrated by Pope Benedict XIV, and then transported to and reconstructed in the Church of St. Roque in Lisbon. Patriarch Almeida is buried in the chancel of the church. At what date the Patriarchs of Lisbon began to quarter the tiara with 3 crowns, though without the keys, on their coat of arms is uncertain, and there are no documents referring to the grant of such a privilege. By apostolic letters dated the 30th of September 1881, the Metropolitan of Lisbon claims as suffragans the dioceses of Angola, St. James of Cape Verde, São Tomé, Iguatán, Portalegre, Angra, Funchal. Patriarchate today. There are over 2 million people living in 282 parishes within the see, 85% of whom are Catholic. The suffragan dioceses of the see are Angra, Funchal, Guarda, Leiria, Fatima, Portalegre, Castelo Branco, Santarém, and Setúbal. Ordinaries of Lisbon. Lisbon, being one of the oldest cities in Europe, has had a rich ecclesiastical history, in which the Ordinaries of Lisbon have held different titles depending on the city's rulers and the power of the rulers. Bishops of Olisipo St. Mancos legendary. Felipe Filaci legendary. Pedro legendary. Pedro legendary. George legendary. Pedro legendary. St. James of Lisbon legendary. Januario legendary. Sao Patamio. Antonio. Neo Bridio. Julio. Azulano. Joao. Iolo. Nestoriano. Paulo. Goma Gomorello. Viarico Abalico Adilico. Nefrigio. Neredo a Neofridio. Cesario Ce Acute Sar. Teodorico. Ara. Landerico. Ildefonso. After the Muslim invasion of Lisbon in 716, the see was vacant. The diocese was revitalized with the siege of Lisbon in 1147, when the city was once again in Christian hands. Bishops of Lisbon: Gilbert of Hastings, Alvaro Soares, Soares Viegas, Vicente, Pio Pais, João Falberto, Estevão Gomes, João, Ricardo Guilherme, Aras Vasques, Mateus, Estevão Aines de Vasconcelos, Domingos Aines Jardo, João Martins de Solis, Fray Estevão O. F.M. Goncalo Pereira, João Afonso de Brito, Vasco Martins, Estevão de Lagarde, Teobaldo de Castrillon, Reginaldo de Mabonard, Lourenço Rodrigues, Pedro Gomes Barroso Ojovem, Fernando Alvarez, Vasco Fernandes de Toledo, Agapito Colonna, 1378 Cardinal, João Rodrigo, named Bishop of Lisbon by Pope Urban VI. Martinho de Zamora, named Bishop of Lisbon by Antipope Clement VII. João Gaudes, named Bishop of Lisbon by Pope Urban VI. João Aines, Archbishops of Lisbon: João Aines, João Afonso Esteves da Azambuja, Diogo Alvarez de Brito, Pedro de Noronha, Luís Coutinho, Cardeal de Jaime de Portugal, Afonso Nogueira, Cardeal de Jorge da Costa, Martinho da Costa, Cardinal Infante de Afonso de Portugal, Fernando de Meneses Coutinho e Vasconcelos, Cardinal Infante de Henrique de Portugal, Jorge de Almeida, Miguel de Castro, Afonso Furtado de Mendonça, João Manuel de Ataide, Rodrigo da Cunha, Antonio de Mendonça, D. Luís de Souza, João de Souza, Patriarchs of Lisbon: Tomás de Almeida, José Manuel da Câmara, Francisco de Saldanha da Gama, Fernando de Souza da Silva, José Francisco Miguel Antonio de Mendonça, Carlos da Cunha e Menezes, Patricio da Silva, Francisco de São Luís Saraiva, Guilherme Henriques de Carvalho, Manuel Bento Rodrigues da Silva, Inácio de Nascimento de Moraes Cardoso, José Sebastião de Almeida Neto, Antonio Mendes Belo, Manuel Goncalves Serragera, Antonio Ribeiro, José da Cruz Policarpo, Manuel José Macrio de Nascimento Clemente,